Do mirrorless cameras signal the end of professional photography? Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the vlog. Once again, it's tea time. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is going to be just a fun conversation, not too much gloom and doom, but I want to put out that question to you about mirrorless. And is it kind of pushing professionals out of the market? Is it signaling the end of professional photography? And I want to give you my thoughts, but more importantly, I want to hear yours. Now, let me start out by saying my background is in film. Okay, I started out in the 80s shooting film, black and white as well as color. I was developing my own film and printing my own film in studio. So this is where I began, all right? And at that time, there was such thing as shutter speed, aperture, and ASA that we had to take into account. ASA now is ISO, same thing. One is the American standards in comparison to the International Organization of Standardization, whatever. Same exact thing is how sensitive something is. At the time, ASA, we understood that it had to do with the sensitivity of film. Today, ASA is now ISO, which has to do with the sensitivity of your sensor and how you set it. So at that time, we really needed to understand our shutter speed as well as aperture and finally our ASA so that we would get shots that we wanted. Well-balanced shots, okay? Well-exposed shots, not blown-out shots and not plug shots, okay? It was very important. And there was no way to do it besides having something like this, all right? This is a Sekonic light meter. Does anyone know what a light meter is anymore? I feel like, I don't know, like Mr. Rogers or something. Anyways, this is a light meter, guys. Some of the old guys are like, oh yeah, I got a couple of those. And some of the new people are like, why do you need to determine light? Why do you need to do that? You just look on the camera, right? Well, that's what I'm getting to. So we needed one of these to be able to get our light right. And to become proficient at our art, we would use film by the caseloads, okay? We would be shooting over and over and over and over to get things just right, to figure out how to get it right in camera, and then later on, even more importantly, how to develop this stuff in certain ways to get exactly what we're looking for. So in development or post-production now, we were able to kind of push or pull the film as needed. Right? So that was this. We went through a ton of this and a ton of money to try to get proficient at our art as professional photographers. There was no second chances most of the time. We would either get it right or you wouldn't get the shot. Now, as things moved on, there was the advent of digital and everything changed at that point. The expediency of filmmaking, of image taking was just 10 times quicker, right? And now all of a sudden the clients, they didn't want to wait a week for processing and development to see those pictures. They wanted the stuff immediately. What also happened is if we got our exposure slightly off, we were able to push it and pull it a little bit better, let's call it, in post-production and rescue those highlights or rescue those plug darks a lot better than we could in the film days, which was really great. We still had to know our shutter speed, our aperture, and of course now our ISO and get it just right. And many times we would still use our light meter to do so because at that time, at the very beginning, we didn't have that little screen on the back. But we were able to do now the post-processing in the computer and didn't have to be elbow deep in stinky chemicals. And we were able to shoot thousands upon thousands and thousands of images to once again perfect our art, which was very useful. Now, as things moved on, we now had a LCD on the back of the camera. It looks something like this. This right here is an old 20D. It just came after the 10D. You're talking extremely old, but look at the size of that LCD on the back. You're looking at maybe an inch, very, very small, but now we had an LCD on the back. That gave rise to the chimp. And chimping, right? How many people do you see that you know that would take a picture, chimp on the back, take a picture, chimp on the back, look at the model for a second, take a picture, chimp on the back, chimp on the back. Hey, look at that. Look how awesome you look. Look at that. Let's look again. Let's take a look. Take another picture. Take a look. over and over and over. What happened is now instead of giving the model your time, we gave the camera our time. And that interpersonal relationship that we got with the female or male model that was in front of us kind of declined. And even though we were able to come up with better exposed pictures the way we like them, I think that there was a slight deterioration of pictures. We didn't tell the models exactly what we wanted as much. Why? Because we're sitting there looking at our camera and they were looking at the top of our head instead of looking into our eyes. And us being able to verbalize exactly what we want. So to me, I think we went backwards a little bit as much as we went forwards when this occurred. Now, this was all great. The chimping happened and we're still doing some chimping today, but we're becoming a little bit less of chimps. Why is that? Well, we originally had what is called as a viewfinder. We would look through the viewfinder and we would see what? We would see the real world as it stands. Well, now as the advent of the mirrorless camera, we have the EVF or the electronic viewfinder. So instead of seeing the real world, you're now seeing an augmented reality, a virtual reality. So when you look through the viewfinder or EVF, it might be black and white. Or it might be sepia, or it might have whatever settings that you have built into the camera. Your ISO, what does it look like? Is it overexposed? The bottom line here, guys, is what you see through that viewfinder, now EVF, is exactly what you get when you pull the trigger. It's WYSIWYG, right, guys? What you see is what you get. How much simpler is it going to get? So now with mirrorless, we have a camera that we can see exactly what we get before we even take the picture, reducing the number of pictures that we even have to take. We have cameras that will shoot up to 20 frames per second, and spray and pray is even more prevalent. We throw a 128 gig card into a camera, hold down that shutter at 20 frames per second. That's all you hear is brrrr. And then later on in post-production, you look at your 3,000-4,000 images and you can pick just the right one. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Is it getting better or is it getting worse? I don't know. I don't know. But my question to you with this alternative thought on mirrorless photography and photography in general, my question to you is, has making image taking extremely easy reduced the need for professional photography? And if so, what can we do to stay relevant? What is it? What is that special something that you have that customers will come back to you and say, you know what, I need him or her to take the picture in comparison to me doing it myself? So that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content, maybe made you think just a little bit. If you did, please throw me a big thumbs up. That would be absolutely stellar. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all the content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all of my photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like, and if there is, please pick it up and support me. We'll see you in the next vlog. Happy shooting. Enjoy, guys. Take care.